Hey guys, Chris Duncan here. Can you all hear me okay? Good to see so many of you on this live stream. Say hello. I think there's a little chat box here on the side. It's nice to be here live with you. Hey, real quick, if you haven't subscribed here on YouTube, please do. I'm going to be doing lots over here and you wouldn't want to miss it. They'll be short to the point. So if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified. It pops up on your phone every time I'm going to go live. I'll do my best to let everyone know, but also I just get random inspiration. So nice to see you all here, and thanks for taking some time to hang out with me on YouTube. Today I wanted to talk about how things have to die or break down in order for new things to grow. I think it's one of the hardest things when we're manifesting. You know, someone will say, Chris, I want to make more money, and they start making more money, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, I'm so upset, this person and that person, our relationship doesn't seem to be the same anymore. And or I really want to have this, but I don't want to lose that. And it's like, Chris, I really want to create something new. I really want to be new. I want to have a different reality. I want to be able to have this, but please, I don't want to lose these things. I'm happy for all this change, but not that. And so here's the question. You must ask yourself, are you willing to let go of who you've been and everything attached to that in order to step into who you're becoming? And it's a big question, and it's one that can stop a lot of people, because what's holding together your current existence is you. You're the person holding it together, your emotional set point, your beliefs, your structures, the way you operate. And the way that you are is holding people and things and environments and all sorts. See, sometimes someone's sitting there and they're tuning in to create financial abundance, and the next thing they say, Chris, it's not working. I just lost my job. And I say, that's what needs to happen. Sometimes, you need to clear that job out. That job was blocking what's about to turn up. See, if you start tuning into financial abundance and you shift what you are and who you are, the things that were attached to the old you have to break down. And sometimes this can be painful. Who agrees with this? It can be painful. But this looks really bad right now because I'm tuning into more abundance and I've just lost my job, or I'm tuning in to create an amazing, loving relationship with my spouse or with my kids, and right now we're at each other. See, sometimes as you're tuning into a new vibration, the old has to move through. It has to show itself for what it is. Chris, I'm really trying to create this life I love, but my best friend and me, we're just fighting. And so you got to be willing to let it all go. And then when you become the new you with the new set point and the new results in life, well, then you can go back and create a new relationship with people, but from a different perspective. You must be willing to trust and understand that when you shift into a new reality, you're shifting into a new you. Things are going to sometimes look bad in the short run. And that is because you're not ready to hold all of that together anymore. It's ready to go. Who's felt this before? You've felt that you're on this new path, and then suddenly things start to look bad. One thing you've got to do is choose what you're creating and stick in that. As you stick in it, what's going to happen is there's going to be so many times that you're pulled back to the old you. You're pulled back to feel frustrated about money. No, I want to be in abundance. You're pulled back to feel anger or disappointment or anxiety. If you get pulled back into it, you're just going to keep holding together what was stopping you before. Okay, so you've got to step into the new you, and then you've got to be an absolute warrior at staying at that. See, a lot of people don't realize that the law of attraction is so real. You can plant a strawberry seed and a carrot seed in the same soil, and both seeds will pull the exact nutrients out of the exact same soil, the same sunlight, the same water to create something different. Yet, even though that's real, that doesn't mean that other laws are diminished, okay? So, for example, the law of gravity, okay, that is a law. However, when we start flying in a plane, the law of lift is bigger than the law of gravity, but they both still exist. And that's the same with the law of work. You know, you've still got, if you want to do something, there is still action. There is a law that says you got to do, there is action to take. You know, it doesn't matter what the seed thinks it is. If it doesn't plant itself and grow, it's never going to turn into what it wants. Now, so I agree, the law of attraction is a bigger law than the law of action. But the thing is that when you shift your attraction point, you shift who you are energetically. You say, I'm no longer planting seeds of frustration. I'm going to plant seeds of abundance. I'm no longer going to plant seeds of doubt. I'm going to plant seeds of confidence. When you shift your attraction point, the people, the things, the places, the environments that were being held together by your old attraction point no longer have that connection. Does that make sense? And so do you follow this? So it has to feel different. It has to break apart. And some of these things might not be what you want to break apart. You might not consciously go, I don't want that to happen, but I do want abundance. And so you have to trust that as you shift into a new vibration, you have to trust that everything's going to match up to that new vibration. However, in the short term, things might not look like that's what's happening. Are you following that? See, I'll give you an example. So many times in my life, I've chosen to step into a new reality. Maybe it's more abundance. Maybe it's to grow my business. And then as you shift, you're there, but something always shows up that is not what I desire. And this is hard for us to contemplate because, or sometimes something I wanted to keep over here has to break. And I have to be willing to go, wow, I'm staying here. Something better, something more aligned is about to come. Something's going to show up that's more in alignment over here. And I talked about this with my private group yesterday. You have to be willing to stay in that tension because in the universe, and I like to really use gardening and it is such a great example. If you've got a garden full of all of these, you know, already all these things that are growing, but you don't want those anymore, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to, you know, get rid of that. And that's not saying that there's anything wrong with them. However, there's just no room to grow something new. So as a human being that can shift their attraction point, if you're basically got a full life, a lot of times there's no room for that to show up that you're trying to manifest. There's no room in your existence. Does that make sense? Your whole energy is so busy. It's got so many things attached to it. So what happens is you take the action to shift the magnetic part of you and you turn into a different point. All these things no longer have that attraction to something. And so it's really big. So here's my advice to everybody here listening is step into the end result of what you really want to create. Okay, and stay in that. Know that if you stay in that and then you do one other thing, which is answer this question: what would the person that I'm becoming do right now? So if you stay in the end result and then ask, what would the person I'm becoming do right now? Those two questions, well, those two things will keep you so in who you are becoming. But then you must not get dragged back into what's about to break down. Okay, this is needed. It is needed to break down and leave. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to rush to make people feel okay or feel better, or, you know, you're losing your job because you're tuning into financial abundance. We don't have to rush back. Oh, no, just trust yourself. Trust yourself that you can do this. This is the obvious action. This is what has to happen. It has to go. It has to leave. And you have to be brave to stay in that. And this can be one of the reasons why people don't manifest. They say, I want a loving relationship with a person I love. And then all of a sudden their marriage is falling apart. Right? And they go, No, this is not. And they race back to try to fix this thing. And instead of really just being a creative warrior going, you know what, I want a relationship. So this one's got to go like this. And maybe it comes back and it is with the person I'm married to right now. Or maybe it's going like this and there's something else that's there. I want a loving relationship. Do you see? They could say, I want a loving relationship. And then all of a sudden they can then see something going wrong. So then they race to fix this and they miss it. You see, they let this tension pull them, or they say, you know what, I really, really, really want to have financial abundance, and all of a sudden, and they would really love to have a business, so they lose their job, and all of a sudden, instead of staying in the tension to build their business, they go off here and get another job, and they end up back over here. They don't allow themselves time to let it expand and to let it grow and to let it to be it. And so, the first thing is really step into that end result of what you want. The second is ask yourself, what is that obvious action that you must take? And then 3 is don't let that tension seek resolution. Just stay in the tension. Once you plant the seeds, water the seeds, feed it, stay in it. The forest will grow. It has to. What you plant will grow. But if you keep racing over here to then try to, stop negative things. Say, Chris, I don't want that to happen. I don't know. It's not what I want. As soon as you race to that, you miss it. You must stay in your creative tension. Stay in what it is you really desire. So that's my download for you guys today. And I really, really would love you to share this out to as many people as possible and allow them, especially people that are having hard times. If they're having hard times, they need to hear this, is that don't try to fix what's going wrong. Right? Don't try to fix it. Don't race to fix. Instead, just choose what you want. Stay in that. Take the obvious action and then stay in that tension. Ignore what's going wrong. It's going to go. It's going to shift. Just keep doing that. So here's my steps for you. Step number 1, ask yourself, what do I truly desire? Can someone type this in if someone's there in the chat box? What do I truly, truly desire to create? What do I love? Okay, what do I love? And try to go to the biggest thing possible. Financial abundance, a relationship I love. Okay, and so that's the first thing. The second is how would it feel if I have that? Like, how would that feel? So I get that emotion. The third is, what is the obvious action? What would the person who has this be doing right now? What is the obvious action? And stay there. Nowhere in what I'm talking about says, look at what's going wrong and try to fix it, okay? Because that's then just holding on to these things. Stay in it. Know that part of shifting your attraction point, part of knowing that this is working, that you're actually shifting, part of it is actually having things go wrong. Love you back, Greg. Love it. Thanks, Annette. Thanks for typing in. Part of when you shift, the old parts of you have to break down. It has to die. It has to go away. It's just part of it, okay? And sometimes the hardest thing is when those are relationships. Just know that if the person's meant to be in your future, when you stay in your tension, you will create a new relationship with that person from a new set point. And if they're not meant to be in your future, it just won't happen. And that is part of creating something new. Hope this was valuable. Please subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you get pinged every time that I go live. I plan to be here sharing a lot of short 10 to 15 minute downloads every day that I'm inspired to do it. Share it with the people that you care about. Have an absolute brilliant rest of your day or your evening, and speak to you soon. Bye.